So good afternoon, everybody. It's Jennifer Ferguson with Artistic Painting Studio. And for those of you that are new to my page or my lives, just wanted to let you know that this is a place for inspiration, training, and products. So we hope to inspire you guys to do some creative stuff. That's our main objective around here. I'm going to be actually starting a fun project. This is a Christmas gift, and it's really no surprise. It's going to be for my daughter. This is the state of Tennessee. It's just a wood cutout. They're pretty thin, okay? So they're about a generous quarter inch, okay, of thickness, some kind of plywood, I don't know. So I'm going to create a weathered wood look on this, and she will mark the state of, or the town of Nashville on here, which she lived in Nashville for 6 years, over 6 years. Both of my kids lived there for over 6 years. Okay, so I'm gonna get started here, you guys. I am gonna bring you down to my desk, okay? So here we have the state of Tennessee, okay? And I noticed when I put this on here, I don't know if it's so much my table, but it's not perfectly flat. It's kind of warped a little bit. So that'll be okay when she hangs it though, but it might be interesting as I work on it. So I'm getting out my good old texture medium, okay? And I just happened to have it in a container because I took some home because we were doing some repair work at home. And yes, I used my texture medium for everything, you guys. We repaired some holes with this. It's good stuff. So we can do a lot with it. Okay, so I'm just putting some of the texture medium directly onto my surface. And I think I'm going to start with my little mini trowel and I'm going to spread this stuff out, okay? And I want to spread it 100% on the entire surface. And I can always go back if it gets over the edges, okay? I can go back and clean those off with my finger, or I can sand them off later, so I'm not going to really worry about if anything gets to the outside edge too much, okay? And I'm not going to worry about it being perfect. For the technique that I'm going to do today, I'm going to be using my Corduroy Tool and creating what I call a weathered wood look. So it can be a little bit thicker than I usually use with the rollers. So I'm going to stay about 1/8 of an inch and not go as thin as I usually do. If it's too thick, I can always sand some down, but I really want more of a heavier weathered wood look. Okay, so I've got my texture medium on here. Okay, so this is just a wood cutout. It's approximately 1/4 inch thick of some kind of plywood. I did not cut this myself. I just troweled on the texture medium, and then I tried to get the texture medium about somewhere between the 1/16 to 1/8 of an inch thick. And then I'm going to use my Corduroy tool. Okay, this is a wonderful tool to create stria, okay, like a broken stria, but it creates the most wonderful weathered wood look, okay? So I'm just going to hold on to the back of this, and I'm going to try to hold on to this wood cutout because I know it's going to want to go back and forth, okay? And that is all I'm going to do is go back and forth with this tool. And it creates the appearance of wood. And the only thing I try to really do is stay straight, okay? And there's some marks right here that I'm just not as thrilled with, so I'm going to try to go all the way and see if I like that better. And then again, I'm going to go start on this end and just try to go straight. Oops, that wasn't too straight. Okay, so let's straighten that one out. And then if you start to get too much buildup on the Corduroy tool, you can actually pounce this back on, because see how it pounced all that product back on there again? And I can, again, work it back and forth. So it is such an easy technique, and it really does create, I want to say, some of the best weathered wood look I've ever seen. And trying to stay straight. Okay, let's get this one more trend there. Okay, I think I did it. And we'll go, whoops. Okay, we're gonna have to try. I'm trying to follow the outside lines. That seems to get me the best straight. It's hard to do something straight for me when I'm doing it that angle, whereas if I was going this direction, it would be way easier, okay? And I see I don't like how that stopped right there. Okay, that's better. Okay, so you can see that you can go through it multiple times and not have to worry. So I hope you guys can see that texture, okay? And I'll lift this back up because I think things look better. You can see them better without the glare sometimes from the angle. But yes, this just has now the texture medium on there, and all I did is go through with the Corduroy tool to create what I call a weathered wood look. Yes, the Corduroy tool really creates a great look. So this is going to dry, and then once it dries, I'll definitely sand off all my edges. Okay, I can see how it got up on the edges, so I'm going to clean all that up. And then tomorrow I'm going to come back and I'll show you guys how to finish this off. Okay, so you too can create some really cool dry time on this, maybe about an hour or so, because it's not on there that thick, and especially after I went back and forth with it. So maybe about an hour or so. I try to let things dry thoroughly because I might be coming back and sanding on it. And if you don't let it dry all the way and you come back and you do anything that is sanding or you put a lot of pressure on it, you'll smash your texture. So definitely let it dry as well, as long as you can. So yesterday, I started this with you guys. Okay, so this is my wood cutout of the state of Tennessee, and it's for my daughter. So I'm going to find her some kind of really cute pin or something to put on here to identify the town of Nashville where she lives. And today I'm going to color it, okay? And I'm going to aim for this sample that I did months and months ago, but isn't that beautiful, okay? I just love the coloration that I got in here. So I'm aiming for this. And I'm hoping that I mixed up my color dark enough. I might just make it a little bit darker, we'll see. But I always create custom glazes. And to do that, I'm using my glazing medium by Golden's Paintworks, okay? And then I've got a collection of colorants that are from Modern Masters, and I don't really care who your colorants are from. To me, colorants are pretty crossover, okay? But I have a Van Dyke Brown, I have one called Coffee Bean, which is just a warm umber, okay, and a white. And that's how I created the color. So when you're starting to kind of create a glaze color and you don't know exactly how to get there, it's always best to start with maybe just a little bit of glaze, maybe a quarter of a cup, so that you're not creating a huge batch and go, ooh, I don't like that color. And just add a little colorant at a time until you start to get that color you want. And I'm going to tell you one of my great secrets, okay, is when I'm trying to get some of these weathered wood colors, okay, I start with some of my darker umbers and kind of create the tone I'm looking for, okay, or I would say the color. And I got that between the Van Dyke Brown and the Coffee Bean. And then, like I said, I wanted to create more of a weathered wood and kind of a lighter look, so I added white to it to lighten it up. This is my color, okay? I'm hoping, I think it's going to be dark enough to get the contrast I want. And like I said, I've already mixed it up. So a quarter cup of glaze, and then just add your colorant slowly. When I'm actually mixing a glaze up, if I'm creating a bigger batch, okay, it's normally 1 cup of glaze, so 1 cup of glazing medium, and then I usually have about 3 tablespoons of colorant altogether. They can be all kinds of different colors, but normally a combination of 3 tablespoons to a cup of glaze. And to me, that's giving me a nice medium saturation of color, so it's a rich glaze. It's going to be enough pigment that I can apply it, wipe it back, and I'm still going to have the color and the pigment I'm looking for. So you just kind of have to play, but that will give you a good place to start, okay? And then if you're looking for your glaze to be more transparent or just say less color, okay, bring that recipe down, so don't add as much colorant. And then if you're looking for it to be even a deeper, richer, stronger color, add more colorant. And that'll just kind of give you an area to at least start and play. This is all mixed up. I've already even stirred it up, and I'm using just what I call a chip brush, which is just a good old cheap brush. These can be found at all your home improvement stores, okay? Mine are kind of vintage, been around for a long time, probably have a little rust on them. And I'm just going to dip a little bit into my glaze. Glaze goes a long way, okay? So you don't have to, you know, put a ton on here, okay? And I'm just going to try to spread it out and get it all across the surface. And just trying to get it brushed in. And there's a lot of texture on here. Okay, so, oh, I forgot to tell you guys. So I knew I forgot a step here. I did take this outside and sanded it first, okay? So I don't mind texture. I don't mind it, you know, being a thick texture. I just don't always like things being really rough, okay? So I went out and sanded off the rough highs and just I would say smoothed out the texture, so it's still texture but not rough to your hand. And that's all I did first, okay? So I sanded it, and then okay, I'm trying to get the edge as well, okay? But the edge I never did anything to, okay? So the edge is basically gonna stain because that's kind of like raw, just raw wood. So I think I'll probably get that when I'm completely done. It'll be almost like a darker edge, which is cool. Okay, so once your glaze is on, you have a little bit of working time. You don't have to panic, and that's one of the beauties of working with a glaze, because you have working time. You don't have to feel like you have to put something on and then just rush to go take it back off, okay? It won't dry on me anytime fast. Okay, so as I'm starting to just go forward, I just want to tell you guys, okay, this is cheesecloth. It comes on a bolt. And as you saw me pull off a couple of pieces, it comes off in sections like this, okay? And I normally will pull off 2 of these and just put them together. Sometimes that's easier than said, okay? And then just fold them until I make a nice pad, okay? These are wonderful for wiping off my glazes. I use these exclusively on furniture and cabinetry, and there are times where I'm even using it on a wall technique as well. So once your glaze is sitting here, all I'm going to do is take my cheesecloth and I'm going to stay in that stria motion, okay? And I'm going to wipe back as much or as little as I want to try to get a little bit more of a variegated finish, okay? So if, depending on how light or dark I want this, I've got the control to basically pull off as much as I would like, okay? And you can see my cheesecloth is getting pretty dirty there, so I can even move to a cleaner section, because if you move to a cleaner section, it'll pull off more glaze again. And, you know, it's a personal thing, you guys, on how light or dark you leave something when it's glazed. I always have said that's just kind of a personal taste, okay? But I think I'm kind of liking the coloration that I'm ending up with right here. And I hope you guys can see that. Okay. One thing about glazes when they're wet, they tend to just glare, okay, off of the camera and the lights in here. So I'm going to just critique this again one more time. I'm going to pull off just a tiny bit more color. And then I'm going to pull the camera back up, because normally we get less of a glare if I pull the camera up and then give you guys a look again, okay? So again, we have a little bit of a glare on there, but this is definitely going to give us a beautiful, let's see if I can get my state up the correct way, okay? Let's hold this right. Give you an absolute beautiful weathered wood appearance, okay? So it's got some incredible texture on there. And then I'm going to again show you guys the dry sample, because that way it won't glare in here, so that way you can see how you definitely get that beautiful weathered wood appearance, okay? And it has got to be one of the easiest finishes, okay? This is truly a 2-step. I didn't paint underneath it. I went directly onto the wood. I did my stria with the texture medium and the corduroy tool, let that dry, sanded it, glazed it. I'm done. And because this is something that I'm doing as a wall hanging and, you know, just going to be putting it on our wall, I'm probably not going to bother to top coat it, okay? It'll be fine just as it is. Now, if it was a piece of furniture and it's something that's going to be touched and used on a regular basis, then I would put a top coat to protect it. But a glaze on its own has a little bit of durability. I mean, it's enough durability for this project, as well as glaze would be enough durability normally for even a wall finish. So if you guys have any questions about this technique, the project that I just finished, working with glazes, texture medium, corduroy tool, whatever, feel free to just post your questions right here on the thread, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible.